So I'm still in Gangtok, the capital of Kissim, and there's a very festive kind of atmosphere in this area with these kinds of trees. It reminds me a little of Europe and Christmas time because it's quite cold here. The one thing that's not here at the moment is snow. Now in the mountains it kind of does snow, understandably, in the higher mountains because it's in the Himalayan mountains. But it's very beautiful, lots of people out here. So yeah, you can see here the trees in the background, the people walking. Oh, this place of garbage as well. Very lit up. It's kind of very nice. Okay. So what I want to read now is Exodus chapter 20, verse 13. Thou shalt not murder. Now, I mean, there's so many people walking around here. Lots of people. Now, just imagine if the people here start killing each other. Okay, if people were prone to just go around and murder each other, then well, sure, we would not be able to sit like this here. I mean, I would not be sitting here. I don't know, we would be ready to run, right? That kind of idea. So, well, praise God for the fact that there is a law that states do not murder. Now, yes, in the New Testament, Jesus is going to, I'll say, put more meat into this, because remember, this is just a general law, do not murder. There's always exceptions. Even afterwards with Moses, he's going to speak of in this circumstance, in that circumstance, if the people met each other out in the field kind of and was murdered, like Cain and Abel kind of idea, right? And by accident, all those things are going to come later on. So there's the basis of you're supposed to not murder. But this is not new, because this is as well a law that God already gave to Noah. So it's not a new law per se, okay? But this is now in part of after the you shall honor your parents, that this law follows, because like I already explained, if you're not going to honor your parents, then the chance of you, well, it's the chance of you holding to anything else, it dims. It's not that everybody growing up in one family homes go around murdering people. No, because that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, and people growing up in normal families can be killed. That's not what I'm saying, okay? But there's a general trend, ultimately. Yes, by the grace of God, therefore, this idea of murder helps us to, makes these kinds of things possible. It makes it possible to sit here and speak to you, and teach you, and for people just in general to kind of have a good evening out, and a cold one at that. Okay, so I said that Jesus in the New Testament, that he spoke on Sermon on the Mount concerning that murder, even calling someone a fool. Raka, that is like the same as murdering. No, yes, we don't see that really in the Old Testament, that mention of uses of that words in murdering in that context. But Jesus, I would say, not that he added, it's just he clarified more what can be in us, because we just see so often as killing someone with just with a knife or a gun or anything like that. That is that. But there's so many other ways how you can kill people. So many other ways. And some of these ways will come out actually in the rest of these 10 words of how you are going to bear false witnesses. Like, for example, gossip. There's so many people are killed with gossip. And I'm not speaking now of just plain being called a fool or not a fool and stuff like that. Okay, so there's a lot more to it, and this is one of those things which we kind of, but I didn't intend that, or we are so fast in using words. And remember as well, at one time there in St. Petersburg in the metro, I saw these words written there that Tolstoy wrote about how we spend so much time teaching our kids how to talk, but we forget to teach them how, when, how, and to keep quiet, right? So yes, to think about what you say. So murder can be for sure a lot more than just someone taking out a knife here and stabbing someone else or anything like that. But anyhow, so those things are all covered ultimately under the idea of do not murder. And I think all of us, most likely in our lives, have said things to people which we clearly regret afterwards, even if we have never stabbed someone with a knife in the back. Okay, Exodus chapter 20, verse 14. You shall not commit adultery. Again, adultery. Now, there's adultery that already came out in the first, in the second commandment well, that's the third, of worshipping other gods, right? I mean, the first commandment, Lord your God, and you should have no other gods before me. Second, don't make any images of me. And then the third, you should not worship them. I mean, you don't want the images and bow down in front of them. Okay, so we've already seen that kind of adultery coming. You're not supposed to serve other gods and be adulterous in that sense. So there is, but here we are now on the not on the kind of a little bit of a different level. We're not now on the level between the horizontal level. So we're speaking more of relationships. Okay. Now again, for them, adultery. People could be unmarried yet, be betrothed to someone, and already that counted as if this person is. So you can't like, okay, she's not married yet or he's not married yet, and can go. And you know, it's kind of a thing that sometimes like guys are easy to, well, he's a guy, you can understand it, and girls need to be virgins by the time they get married, and guys are guys, and they'll always be. That doesn't hold true. It's good for the one's good for the other, one's good for guys, good for gender as well, kind of idea. So one can't go like that, right? On both sides you need to, even before marriage. So I'm saying, in a certain sense, all the sleeping around, all this so-called making love kind of idea, you know, it's just an earthly construct, but in a way you're already adulterous because one day you're going to get married and you're not going to be a virgin, and so in that sense you've already used someone else's future wife, or you yourself as a man being used, somebody else's future husband's being used. So yeah, there's more to it as well, like not just a year and now after marriage or during betrothal or anything like that. So one needs to be careful and as well take this maybe a lot more serious than it's supposed to be taken. Okay, so don't just again think, okay, you're not married, so you can't be an adulterer, for example. Right, you need to understand that you can be one as well, even if you're not married. We're going to start sleeping around, even with other married women. That's still you can still be an adulterer because of what I already explained, that this is someone else's. So yeah, this is now then in horizontal. We've seen already in the vertical phase that you're not supposed to be adulterer with other gods, right? Okay, so let me just swap the camera around and then show you a little bit more of just the people walking kind of around here, the trees. I don't know, I've been now in a number of Indian cities, and well, but this far, this way, well, this is like I've seen a few other Europeans or white people around, you know. Caucasian people around. But yes, this, although it's clearly Asian, but you get lots of kind of Western places, and then Tibetan influence, understandably. Dhanyabad is thank you then in Tibet, and so yes, but it's. Well, there's actually even casinos here, which I haven't seen in any. I don't even know, honestly, if it's illegal in other parts of India for casinos to be run. So yeah, maybe, of course, Sikkim is in state on its own kind of idea. Maybe again that is something that is allowed for them, but not maybe allowed in other places. But yeah, I mean it's easy to like. Other states have been accepted now, for example, in Mizoram or Nagaland, especially Nagaland, where you can get beef and pork and chicken, all kinds of meat. In here, no problem. The people they sell all. You can go and buy beef, and I just ate something with a dish, Tibetan dish with it's like a kind of a samosa kind of idea, just bigger. With a mixture of beef, pork, and chicken. So yeah, all these things are kind of possible.